All right. I have actually epic news for you, everyone. We have sorted the matter about the presentation. So, once again, and I want to do this properly, just once again, just because we had to wait for another second. So, we are going to speak once again about the AI being the future of healthy staking, and about humans as well. Once again, welcome back on stage, Elay of Polli, and we're very, very looking forward to hear your presentation. We can't wait, actually. You held us in suspense. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, that was relieving, I have to say. You know, every mistake that happened could happen. So, freer now. So, hi, everyone. I'm Elay, founder and CEO of Polli. And like I said, I'm really excited to be here today and share the future of staking and how AI plays a role in it. So without any further ado, let's talk staking. So as everyone knows, staking is a process where we secure blockchains by participating in delegating our tokens to validators, and we get rewarded for it. And it is the heartbeat of blockchains and what POS blockchains basically live off of, and most of the blockchains in the world today are POS. Now, I also personally think that staking is an incredible financial tool where, you lock up your tokens to secure a network and you get rewarded for it with more digital assets. I also know staking from a very personal perspective because staking pretty much, I want to say, was a lifeline for me during one of the toughest periods of my life where I couldn't work for almost a year. I found myself optimizing my returns for months and really days and weeks. And it was, I was in a place where I had to find the optimal solution to, really kind of optimize my returns. But what I found there was also that I'm optimizing security as well. Now, I have to say that during that process, a lot of people think that staking is boring or simple, and it's like, what, I lock up my tokens and I generate yield and that's it, right? Well, that's not really the case, and I actually found that staking is not boring, it's not that simple, and it's actually there's a lot of problems, and it's pretty broken, I want to say. And the reason for the fact that it's broken is mostly us. It's humans. Staking is a process that is meant to work by nodes. Nodes are meant to operate it. Vast amounts of data are supposed to be running through those nodes in very high velocities. Now, us humans, by managing staking, create two problems in both security and profitability. From a security standpoint, most delegators today delegate to validators, basically one validator, based on mostly marketing and not necessarily performance. What that creates is a real threat of centralization. Some of the top networks in the world, such as Ethereum, 27% of voting power is held by one entity. In Solana, 45% of voting power is held by 25 validators out of about 1,300. And even in Cosmos, even Atom, 48% of voting power is held by the top 10 validators. Now, what that creates is a real problem for centralization. Now, I've also learned that necessarily, if you're delegating to one validator, that does not mean that your profitability is going to be better. On the contrary, if you're delegating to multiple validators, that actually increases your profitability just a little bit. But then there's also the fact of, the fact of compounding, of knowing when to compound, how much to compound in ideal intervals. And that, I can tell you as a full-time staker, I found myself asking 3 questions on each side. Which validator do I delegate to? How many validators do I delegate to? And how do I know that this validator is not going to get jailed or slashed while I do that? And then for profitability and compounding is how often do I compound? How much do I compound? And how much is each transaction going to cost me? Now, as someone who was sitting for days and trying to figure this out, trying to do this block by block is unrealistic for a human being to try and do because of the velocity. In Cosmos, a block is created every 6 seconds. In Solana, every 400 milliseconds. And even in Ethereum, 6 minutes. I mean, it makes me even dizzy to think about it. So back then, while I was sitting, I said, okay, well, let's go and learn from the pros. I'm sure, I said to myself, I'm sure treasury managers have got to have figured this out. And what I found, I ran a little research, what I found was actually very surprising. In treasuries, because, key people that are managing delegations are key decision holders for protocols and for treasuries in general, spend 4 to 6 months of their time, of human capital, trying to optimize delegations. Now, again, they're human beings, and they're managing delegations across dozens, if not hundreds, of validators. And the results are not that great. I mean, up to 20% of tokens can get jailed, sitting idle and not participating in consensus or generating rewards. 5% of tokens get slashed. And from a profitability perspective, more than 50% of tokens are underutilized. So performance is not optimal. So how do we solve this? We solve it with AI. We believe that first and foremost, we empower. We start with empowering delegation managers by giving them more intelligence and not more human labor. And that means automating security and profitability simultaneously. That way, we reclaim 6 months per year for these very important people to make the important decisions in navigating the protocols that they are in charge of and making them even more successful. And we call that healthy staking. So what is healthy staking? Healthy staking means maintaining delegations to top-performing validators at all times. It means intelligently and dynamically compounding at all times. And it means continuously distributing delegations across various validators or more top-performing validators, creating a performance threshold for that network and making it even more secure. That way, AI automates the redundant and repetitive tasks, and us humans can sit and navigate and make the important decisions to move the protocols and networks that we are in charge of further. And that's what we do at Polli. Polli is an AI yield optimizer which sits between the wallet and the validator. At Polli, we simultaneously optimize security and profitability together. Security by distributing delegations to top-performing validators in real time, and profitability compounding rewards at optimal intervals at all time. Now, of course, we are very loyal to the very basic ethos of blockchain, which is your keys, your money, and we are non-custodial. All of this sounds great, even looks great, but we also bring results. Every network which we have been optimizing for, we have been delivering about 20% above market rates for our delegators. 60% of redelegations were due to decentralization purposes and security, to support the security of the networks. And we are very happy to say that about 1% of total compounding transactions for Cosmos in H1 2025 were contributed by Polli. Let's talk a little more about how we've contributed to Atom this year. First and foremost, our delegators enjoyed a higher APY compared to market. They enjoyed 22% APY versus about 16% market APR. From a network health perspective, we've contributed 77% of redelegations were due to security, 74 of those only for decentralization, and 23% for profitability. And of course, we are very happy to say that through our intelligent compounder, we have contributed to the asset resilience and value accrual of Atom. But Atom is not the only network which we've contributed to. We've also contributed to Lava. Lava is a distributed RPC network, RPC provision network, that basically has not one, but 2 staking mechanisms. One is the classic native staking mechanism, and the other is for the RPC providers, very similar to how staking works. When we started optimizing for Lava, we started with native staking just like any other protocol which we've worked with, and we've steadily generated above 20%. But then when we started staking, they just came out with the RPC provision mechanism. We saw that providers came on and offline I want to say it's familiar for a new network to start like this, kind of being a little imbalanced, but we found ourselves redelegating multiple times, my team and myself, just to keep yields steady. Now, in terms of, we said, okay, so how do we solve this? We took our native staking mechanism and implemented that into RPC provision, and the results were amazing. We helped secure the network further. We helped stabilize yields, and of course, we've generated about 40% above market APY for delegators. That, to me, is, I think, the classic example of what healthy staking looks like. I personally feel that staking could be the fundamental for the future of yields. Not only is healthy staking brings efficient security and efficient profitability, but also healthy staking could be used as a deflationary mechanism. With the native yields we are generating by efficiency alone, this could be used over time to reduce the incentives that protocols deliver in terms of rewards for security. So let's kind of do a quick recap here. We've learned that staking is critical for POS blockchains and securing the network as it being the heartbeat of POS blockchains. Now, staking is only going to grow as blockchain adoption grows. And this problem is already of magnitude, and it's going to only grow unless we take care of it now. We've also learned that we can leverage AI to empower delegation managers and delegators in general to better secure the network and generate better results in profitability. And that would be healthy staking, which means better security, which means more profitability, and means healthier blockchains. Thank you very much.